Oh no!
No, 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 no.
What's up, guys? It's Bolt, and I'm back with another Remnant 2 build guide. And in this video, we're going to go over my Lifesteal Assault Tank build. And this has to be the strongest build in the game thus far, and just in the totality of everything. Damage and sheer immortality, basically. You cannot die. We have 80.6% DR here. Obviously, 80% is the cap when we use the confidence booster. And yes, we will be using a lot of consumables on this build. This is an alchemist focus build, which is why we have it slotted in first. So we take advantage of alchemist potency trait that it has. and we utilize those consumables to the best of our abilities. And the consumables in this game are extremely strong, and a lot of people overlook them, and I'm going to shed some light to them right now. But let's go over the 1 hour consumables first. We have the Spirited Prime perk with Alchemist, so we can have 3 extra concoctions at all times. So we're using the Mudsuit's Tonic, the Meat Shake, the Bark Extract, and the Sanguine Vapor. So all of that right there is going to give us some insane survivability and leeching. Let's go over our second archetype. We have the Challenger slot in a second. This is where our damage is going to come from. With the weapons that we're using, we have the Rampage skill, which is going to ramp up our damage, our firing rate, reload speed, movement speed, all that stuff. This is going to help us get our damage and make up for the lack of like the crit stuff that a lot of DPS builds use. Right here, Rampage is going to help us out with that. Onto the trinkets, we have the Whispering Marble, which is going to combo into the 2 new trinkets and one of the fan favorites, Dried Clay Ring. Let's get into it. Dried Clay Ring is our first ring. Gonna give us a stack of Bulwark, and it's gonna give us some damage with the total of our damage reduction. We get extra Bulwark stacks from Colquitt's Islet and the Thylos Islet. Colquitt is going to also give us some health regen, which comes in handy when you're not leeching. If there's any type of passive parts of a fight, you got that. The regen is pretty damn good with it, especially paired with regrowth and stuff like that. Really nice to have. But if you feel comfortable without having the extra regen, then you could sub this ring out for a damaged ring, let's say Braided Thorns or Probability Cord or something like that. But you're gonna have to use the Sweet Leaf consumable also. So keep that in mind. Sweet Leaf consumable will give you the stack of Bulwark with potency for 60 seconds. So if you don't mind consuming more stuff during a fight and you want a little bit more damage and you don't need the extra health regen, then yes, sub this out for something else if you're liking, but make sure you consume the Sweet Leaf. Thylos Islet, this is nice too. This is going to give us some stamina. We're in the heavy roll right here. We're not even going to be dodging much, so you don't really need the extra stamina in my testing. But it does give you the ability to have extra Bulwark stack. That's what we really want. We want to have those 6 Bulwark stacks because then that's going to give us Dried Clay Ring extra damage and Whispering Marble extra damage. So that's exactly what we want. So this one has to stay on for the extra Bulwark stack. So if you do need to replace a ring, make sure it's the Colquitt Islet. And then last is the Token of Favor. We are using the Monolith, so our enemies will be exposed indefinitely. So we're going to get a nice 10% boost in our crit chance and 5% all damage bonus right there. So this is our damage ring, kind of all around nice to have. We have plenty of damage. We don't need any more damage reduction. We have the max capacity of damage reduction. Now we just need some more damage. It's going to give us extra heals. Remember, we want the heals from the star of the show, which I'm going to go into right now. Profane Heart, man, this is severely overpowered, guys. I suspect this is going to get a nerf because it's just how brain dead and strong it is. I don't even have to dodge. I just stand and shoot, and the leech, every single damage that we do leeches. So this is going to combo with Monolith and Nebula in that we have Fire and Forget mods. So Nanoswarm and Monolith are going to be leeching for us while if we're not shooting, those 2 things right there alone are going to be leeching on us, leeching for us. Shooting the primary of the Nebula to put a dot on will be leeching for us. That's exactly what you want. You want constant uptime from your leech. And the fragments we're using is the health, the damage reduction, and the armor effectiveness. These are all going to help us get the 80% when we use the confidence booster consumable. So that's why it says 76.8%. When we use confidence booster is an absolute must on this build. Because not only does it give us the damage reduction, but most importantly, it gives us stagger resistance. Confidence Booster has to be one of the strongest, if not the strongest consumable in the game. The stagger resist is absolutely incredible, and it makes you the unstoppable force, the immovable object. So much so, I don't even need to use the Stone Skin skill from the Alchemist, because I have the 80% DR already. We're already at the cap. Let's get some more damage in, and that's why we're using the Frenzy Dust. That's going to give us faster reload, faster fire rate, and both weapons need it. Both weapons have really bad reload speeds, and the ramping from the firing rate is going to benefit them for the DPS on it, and that's what we need from our skills, the DPS. because we're getting damage reductions for everything else. So we went with the monolith again, really one of my favorite weapons in this DLC. Got the sandstorm, passive damage, but it's also going to do the exposed effect, which is going to thus trigger our token of favor. We have the 1,000 cuts mutator on there. This is for the crits. We want the crits, and on top of that, it gives us that reload speed because, like I said, the reload speed is really bad on Monolith, so it needs all the help that it can get. Keep in mind there is a bug currently with Monolith that if you have 0 rounds in your magazine, you cannot activate your mod. It'll always trigger a reload, and the reload is very slow, so you have to make sure you're done with the reload animation completely before you try to shoot that mod off. And then for Nebula, we have feedback because we want to get that mod charge back as soon as possible. As far as the melee is concerned, you can use whatever you want. You're not going to be meleeing much, but I have World's Edge with Shocker. I don't know why I even have it on there. It's just a heavy sword. It's big and it looks cool with this setup I have. I look even more tanky or badass with it, so that's why I have it. I don't really melee much with it. And as far as the armor is concerned, I went with this because it's the Leto Mark II because it keeps us in the heavy weight threshold. If you go with the other Leto armor, then you will be over encumbered. You'll be ultra heavy, and then you'll be flopping. But you could go with that, but we don't need the extra DR anyway. We're already capped. But if you just want to do it for aesthetics purposes, then go ahead and put the other Leto set on. But keep in mind, you will be over encumbered, and you won't be able to dodge effectively when you do dodge because we don't need to dodge on this build, but you will have to dodge the one-shot attacks. Certain bosses do have attacks that will kill you regardless. Venom has his ultimate attack, the flame pillars that come out of the ground. Magister Delane has the bodies throwing at you. That's all. It's an automatic one-shot. His tongue impalement is a one-shot. Bruin has the one-shot spear attack. So there are certain attacks that no matter how much damage reduction you do have, no matter how much lifesteal you do have, you will die from that. Other than that, you're not going to die. That's as simple as that. You will not die. This is easy mode. In terms of the traits, we have Potency and Strongback. Those are the respective archetype traits. Then we have Fortify for the damage reduction, Swiftness for the movement speed, Regrowth for passive regen, Gifted to keep our skills up there as long as we can, Vigor because we need that health, Spirit so we could charge our mods faster, Siphoner, that's going to help us with our lifesteal, as well as a Leech. And then we have a few points left over for Chakra for the increased mod duration to keep our mods out there longer. You could also use Expertise if you want, but I found it, apples to oranges at that point, which we left alone Expertise with the 2. Let me know what you guys think of this build. Honestly, I really feel like this is the strongest build just overall. Immortality, damage, it has everything going for it. I honestly, I don't understand how this build exists. They don't like having DPS builds, but they allow something like this to exist. So I don't know. I guess it allows more players to have more accessibility to higher difficulties or to the game. If you're struggling with this game, please just use this build and you will have 0 struggles. I guarantee you that. That's it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys found it informative. If you did, please consider giving it a like. Please consider subscribing if you have not done so already. Share this video. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below, and I'll catch everyone on the next one.